Hey, greetings, my Noble CFOs. This is Art Zalstra as we continue this series on the Noble CFO business system. What can you expect when you join this journey as a Noble CFO? You're buying into a system. So what can you expect out of that system? How can you be assured that by following this system, you will be successful? And so what I've done is I've given you some highlights to that. I've gone into a little bit more detail about each stage. And when you join the Noble CFO, my coaching will be based on these areas. And you'll go into a lot more detail, a lot more customized as a Noble CFO to make sure that these coaching concepts are embedded in what you do to help you start, grow, and create a sustainable, monthly recurring fractional CFO business under the Noble CFO label. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about selling, the noble way to win business. Selling is to your prospective client. Now I'm going to be as part of this system providing leads when I can and working very hard to help you get leads. But ultimately, it's your responsibility to talk with these prospective clients, help them understand who you are, what value you provide, then to have them hire you as their fractional CFO. So really what this training does is help replace the fear of sales with confidence as you're creating a service-driven value. In talking with a lot of professional accountants, one of the biggest fears in starting a fractional CFO business, starting your own business, is how do I get clients? Because you're perhaps walking away from a W-2 income, or perhaps you're in between jobs and you want to start this fractional CFO business. The biggest fear is how to make sure I get clients, that I'm building a big enough practice to meet my budget financial needs. There's a number of things we talk through and we'll work through in helping you be confident in selling. Redefine sales. Really, you're providing service and partnership. The whole concept is you have a unique stewardship proposition that you're bringing to a prospective client. You want to partner with them. You're bringing them a service of value. You want to partner with them. You want to become business associate with them. You want to build authentic relationships. I've said this analogy a lot. Over my career, I've sat on the other side of the desk of salespeople, selling whatever, insurance, office products, copying machine deals, whatever, right? You're sitting on the buyer side of that and you're feeling the pressure and you're feeling the sales tactics that they're using. Maybe even when you're buying a car, that's the concept. It's a used car salesman. You're feeling that pressure. You don't like it. And you go, I don't want to be that person. Now you're on the other side of the desk and you're talking with a prospective client. You don't want to be that pushy salesperson that's just trying to close a deal so that they can get the commission and move on to the next one. You got to flip your mindset around. This is not about selling. It's about providing value to someone that wants to partner with you. If the value isn't there, you don't partner. It's not a hard sell. It's just developing a solid partnership of value that I'm going to provide. Understand the business owner. Most of these business owners are entrepreneurs. They've built their business large enough to need someone like you to oversee the financial and accounting parts of their business. I encourage you to read the book, The E-Myth, and whether this business owner is an entrepreneur, he's a manager, technician, understanding the business cycle. Are they in a startup mode? Are they in a ready to sell mode or someplace in between? Just getting an understanding before you meet with that business owner so you understand a little bit more about what drives that person, what they're thinking, what stage their business is in. Then you can go in, ask good questions. You're uncovering some of the pain that they're feeling. The reason they're really willing to talk to you is because they know that something's missing. They maybe don't know quite what it is. And so you're asking good questions. You're drilling down and listening to them talk about their business, some of the joys of the business and some of the struggles of the business and some of the things that maybe they don't know they're missing. And you ask good, deep questions that you're listening carefully to the answer, maybe driving even deeper on those particular questions to help bring out the sort of of things that they are struggling with and the sort of things that they need to know to be able to have a more successful business. A discovery system that I've implemented with all my clients before I started with them. I did some discovery on their financials, on their accounting, on their business, where they're at in their business, and what they want to achieve. I've invested multiple hours in this process so that I can come back to that business owner and say, look, based on our conversation, this is what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing where you're at, and this is what I'm hearing what you would like this to be. Here's the gap, and this is how I can help fill that gap, how I can provide a value to bring you from where you're at to where you want to be. That is the value proposition you bring. That is the service you bring, the value. That is what allows a business owner to go, oh, yeah, I see how you can help me build a better business. That's it. That's the sale. Here you are. Here's where you want to be. Here's the gap. This is what I can do to fill the gap. Very simple. Not always easy to do. With that then becomes a value-based pricing. Most of these owners really don't want to be in a position where they're monitoring hours. They get their CPA, that so often a CPA or a lawyer, those sort of folks that bill every quarter hour. And it depends on if you're getting a partner that's billing it or an associate or maybe a legal assistant, different layers of dollars per hour that you're paying. And you get the bill and you go, did they really spend all that time? Did the partner really need to spend this many hours on that? Couldn't that legal secretary do that? The questions, and that rolls every month. If you get a bill, the owner's going, really? Did they really put that many hours into it? As a Noble CFO, you're not going to price based on hourly rates. You're not going to bill based on quarterly or half hour or hourly rates. You're going to go and say, this is the value. Again, this is what you've told me. This is where you're at. This is where you want to be. Here's the gap. This is the value that I can provide you. And this is the agreed upon price that I'm going to charge for this value that I'm going to deliver to you. And it's a consistent monthly amount so they know within their budget, this is what's going to cost me every month. I understand that. I understand the value I'm getting, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with paying this monthly amount. I don't have to look at that invoice every month and try to figure out, did they really spend the time that they're saying on their invoice? All they have to do is, did I get the value that he promised, she promised? If I'm getting the value, sign the check and away it goes. Very simple. Creating that value-based pricing. And part of this training is to help you understand the value you bring. So many of us, part of our personality in many cases, is we undervalue what we bring to the table. I help create an understanding of the value you bring and why maybe at this company you can charge X dollar per month because you're bringing a little higher value. It may not take any more time than another client, but you're bringing a higher value. Understanding that, creating that value-based pricing. And then closing the sale with confidence. And I say closing because that's a typical sales word, but it's really not. It's just saying, look, I see the partnership potential here. You see the partnership potential here. Let's shake hands, become partners, and everybody's happy. That's the close. And I teach you how to write the presentation, the value proposition, how to present that to the owner, and how then you are creating a win-win. The business owner's winning, you're winning, and you're doing it in integrity. You don't have to lie. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to tell half-truths. It's all above board with integrity, creating a partnership. It's not closing a sale on somebody that didn't really want to buy your product. You're creating a partnership, and they're getting a value. You're giving a value. You're getting return on that value. It's a great partnership to have. So there's a lot of stuff in integrity selling that I can train on, and depending on where you're at in your journey with sales, we may have to dive deeper, or maybe you've got it and we don't spend quite as much time on that. Wherever you're at, I'm going to meet you there. I'm going to help bring you from where you're at to where you want to be. I'm going to fill that gap for you as a Noble CFO. That's what I bring to the table. When you join this system, help understand where you're at, understand where you want to be, understand what that gap is, and how I can help fill that gap. So you learn to sell without selling by leading meaningful conversations that result in trusted, recurring partnerships. Can't wait to help you become that trusted partner as a Noble CFO that transforms business, transforms communities. It's such an exciting journey. The transformational possibilities within each company and each community is tremendous. I want as many people as possible to join in this journey. Thank you so much.